you're right.
All right, boys. So this is gonna be the 2-minute guide to MM Hunter, maybe longer. So for single target fights and only single target fights, you want Master Marksman. This talent you always pick. You never use the other talents ever. Second tier, careful aim. It's kind of the single target one. If there's a little bit of AoE and you can save explosive shot for it, then you go explosive shot instead. Yeah, so like explosive shot AoE fights, Mythic plus, careful aim if you're just pumping single target. Third tier is kind of up to you. Natural mending is kind of the most defensive one, so it's what I default to. For Mythic plus, I prefer defaulting to camo if I just have to make it past the pack we've skipped. Something like that. Trailblazer is nice for the maw, but I like camo more because I prefer just avoiding fights altogether rather than moving fast. Fourth tier is basically, so you can use, there's situations where all these talents work. Steady focus is like the one where you have constant uptime and you can just constantly hit something. Because you have to do steady shot twice in a row every 15 seconds to actually keep it up. If you're constantly hitting new targets and shit is dying all around you, it's gonna be very hard to keep that up, so it's not very good. Streamline is basically really simple. You pick this for AoE. Like if there's ever 3 targets or more up in a fight, you're gonna pick Streamline usually. Chimera Shot is a bit special. It's basically Arcane Shot, but it's like it hits 2 targets, and the MM doesn't have any 2-target cleave by default. So you use Chimera Shot on strictly 2-target fights. If there's 3 targets, it's bad. If there's 1 target, it's bad. But 2 targets is like the sweet spot. But it really has to be 2 targets most of the time. So Huntsmen, Stone Legion Generals, they're kind of like, it's a bit 50-50 between Steady Focus and Chimera Shot. You can go either. I'd say most people probably gonna have more fun playing Chimera Shot. One important thing to note about Chimera Shot is that the normal True Shot rotation does not involve you casting Precise Shots procs during True Shot most of the time. But when you're fighting 2 targets and you True Shot with Chimera Shot enabled, you always spend those stacks because it just pumps so fucking hard on 2 targets. Fifth tier is a bit up to you as well. Born to be Wild is strictly speaking better for defensive purposes. Post haste is like if you're just that's like default choice because it just enhances your mobility. It can help you break slows and stuff. Binding Shackles is really like, that's sort of a Torghast self-defensive. It's really niche, I would say. Level 45, you basically always pick double tap. Anything else is memes. Level 50, it's a volley if there's any meaningful amount of AoE, and lock and load if it's just pure single target pump. Alright, so that concludes the talents. So on actual fights, you're gonna precast double tap, at least on most fights. And that's gonna make your next aim shot just double pump. So let's pretend there's a pull timer. You're gonna like precast aim shot into it. Then you're gonna do double steady shot, and that's just gonna bring up your steady focus buff, which is the yellow timer. Then you wild spirits true shot into aim shot, into rapid fire, into aim shot again, and then you sort of. So now the goal is basically cast as many aim shots and rapid fires as possible without capping on focus. So you use Arcane Shot very sparingly to prevent you from capping on focus. If you use Arcane Shot too much, the symptom is that you won't have enough focus to cast aim shot on cooldown. So a lot of people wonder, like, do I refresh steady focus during true shot? The answer is that yes and no. So if the rule for steady focus, and this applies to all situations, is that if you are below 5 seconds, like this timer's red here, on steady focus, and you are steady shotting anyway, like if you're just steady shotting as part of your normal rotation, then you do another steady shot, like going out of your way to refresh it, in a sense, but only with one steady shot out of the way, so to speak. Someone asked for a rotation guide, and I have a lot of viewers right now, so I figured, okay, people want to understand what I'm about. The rest of the rotation is really simple. Like, you want to keep aim shot and rapid fire and cooldown all the time. You want to cast steady shot in pairs to keep up steady focus. When you get a lock and load proc, you just spend that just like it's an aim shot. Hit that rapid fire and cooldown. My steady focus is expiring. So this is a bit bad because I'm focus capping, but it's okay. I'm gonna Arcane Shot just to stave off the focus cap a little bit. Hit that aim shot on cooldown. Double tap you want to spend on aim shot single target, and on AoE it's kind of whatever is most convenient. So double tap into aim shot. Gonna refresh my steady focus. You're not in a rush to spend your precise shots procs, which is the blue number here. You just want to spend them before your next aim shot. So you'll see that I almost always go aim shot into arcane. You don't strictly have to do that. It's just the most convenient way to play in my opinion. So usually like the cadence goes like you'll aim shot, and then you'll use 1 or 2 arcane shots, and then you'll do 2 steady shots to put up steady focus. Yeah, so mid rotation if you are about to pump. So you basically refresh steady focus, so double steady shot, and then you wild spirits, true shot, aim shot, rapid fire, and then you're basically back to it. I'm focus capping, so I'm gonna use 1 arcane shot, but no more than that. Just continuing as normal here. Notice that I'm not refreshing steady focus because I haven't actually had to cast steady shot in it anyway. So yeah. What do I get if I get a lock and load proc after I hit double tap? Well, then you just fucking like scream out in joy, because that's a really good RNG bunch. Like, it just feels good. You're just gonna double tap into that lock and load, and that's how it is. What else have we got? Clip it for your viewers. I might. Especially now that I can rely on this music being copyright free. What else? What else can I tell y'all about? Maybe I can go over to the AoE dummies. The swarm dummies, as they call them. I'm gonna wait 50 seconds for any questions on my CDs to come back up. So if anyone's got something, fire it off. Is haste trinket best used before true shot? It's best used with true shot if you're talking about Dark Moon card veracity here. It lasts 20 seconds, so you could use it before, but there's not much reason to. Generally, it's just you remove it from your bars and you macro it into true shot, and it just works. That one is very simple, and that's the same for the overcharged anima battery, which is basically just this one in different clothing. How do you press your buttons so fast for the CDs? Good key bindings. How would you use Macabre sheet music in your opener? I wouldn't. Should I craft a PM legendary or MM? Craft a legendary for the spec you're gonna play. So if you're playing, I mean, yeah, you know, you play MM, but BM is more fun. What the important information is, what are you actually gonna play long term? Is there certain uptime cutoff for Streamline overtake steady focus? Yes, in theory, but I don't know it. It's probably around the 70-80% mark. Is there a reason why you didn't hold your DT for your second TS? Because there's no point. Like, there's no interaction between True Shot and Double Tap anymore. There used to be. So in BFA rather, you had Unerring Vision, Azerite trait, which made True Shot give you a stacking crit buff. So you wanted to usually sync up Double Tap with a True Shot, so you could double tap a crit buffed aim shot in it. Great. But now that's gone. And all True Shot does is reduce the cooldown and the cast time of aim shot rapid and aim shot respectively. Double tap doesn't have any interaction with that. Like, it's no better to use... in fact, it's probably worse to use double tap during True Shot than using it like desynced. Because that's just another global, and you're like starved for globals in True Shot. So yeah. What about Covenant? Well, Covenant and True Shot are always just synced up. You just... Every time you use Covenant, it's True Shot right after. Just bang, always. When are the Hunter Vigor, Steady Focus Timer, Group CD Vigor is going to be updated on Wago? Hunter Steady Focus Timer is up. Group CD is also up. If you're talking about the Zen Tracker stuff. Is rapid fire worth interrupting if you get a lock and load? Well, no, because lock and load lasts like how long? Well, a long time. Like, you have ages to spend your lock and load proc. It's not gonna go anywhere. Like, you wanna spend it pretty soon because there's a small chance that you'll override it. But like, you don't go out of your way to cancel shit to do so. Toxin Trinket are good. It is good, but I could get better. I could get a quantum device. Do you shift for key bindings? Yes, I do. So shift 1 for me is Wild Spirits. Shift 2 is True Shot. So you can see that's pretty easy to go into. Why don't you have Wild Spirits and True Shot on a macro? Because Wild Spirits is on GCD and True Shot is not. So if I have a macro, then it's gonna like waste 1 GCD of True Shot, where you're already staffed for global cooldowns. Just no point. Why is it at Explosive Shot? It seems to be a top even in single target situations. It's not top in single target situations. It's just that it takes very little AoE for it to be better. Do you expect Hunter nerfs? I'm a bit 50-50, and so are Blizzard apparently. Like, they're having internal talks about it, is the latest I heard. So I just don't know. And because I don't know, I don't care. Because I can't. There's no reason to worry about something I cannot possibly change. I don't see why they would nerf Volley though, because Volley is not OP. Like, if they're gonna nerf Hunter, it's gonna be an aura buff, I think. Would you macro the battery into True Shot? Yes. Wouldn't that be Curie nerfs and not Hunter nerfs in general? Well, no, because we are playing Night Fae, so it would be silly to nerf Kyrian if you're trying to hit the whole spec. If MM is nerfed X%, do we make the jump to BM? Yeah, if X is a really high number. Is Berserking on GCD? No. Do you use add cursor macro for Wild Spirits? Yes. What else have I missed? I think I got everything. Okay, so I'm Kyrian as well. Should I hold a resonating arrow with True Shot or just use it with DT? Well, so in Kyrian's case, you do want to delay double tap for the True Shot, although it's a very small gain. It's like, you know, but because in that case, your True Shot is effectively also increasing the damage, or you're stacking it with something that increases your damage. So you just use True Shot and CD and don't care about syncing DT, correct? Okay, well I just answered that. Why Explosive Shot? It seems to be better on single target DPS. It's not. It just doesn't. It doesn't seem to be better on single target DPS. It's just not. It's not far behind, but it is clearly worse than Careful Aim. Bosco0425, thank you so much for the sub. Enjoy the UI access on my Discord. How do you usually open in a Mythic Plus AoE situation? I should get around to that, shouldn't I? Is any one damage meter better than the others for seeing true DPS? Gonna go over that one real quick. There's two ways a DPS meter can measure your DPS. There's active DPS, effective DPS. Recount is the only one that counts active DPS. Maybe they've changed in the last few years. If so, I don't know. And details and SCADA give effective DPS. The difference is effective DPS is damage done divided by fight length, combat length. Active DPS is damage done divided by amount of time you're active. All logs and stuff, they count effective DPS. So you should use SCADA or details. I prefer details. You can use SCADA as well. Details is sort of like the more try-hard modern option for most people. Where SCADA is a lot simpler, I would say, overall. Like, the worst thing about details is this fucking configuration. Like, it's fucking garbage. And then you're like trying to, okay, you know, I want to upgrade to a better like nameplate add-on, and then you get fucking this thrown in your face, which is a great add-on, but like, holy shit, how is anyone supposed to navigate this? Who's not like some kind of add-on god, you know? Let's see. Okay, how do I usually open an AoE situation? I feel like I spend 4 globals just setting up. Should be a lot shorter than that. So you're gonna pick Volley, you're gonna pick Streamline, Explosive Shot. And this is gonna be a Mythic Plus build. Gonna answer other question. Now I'm just gonna handle this open. So you're gonna, you know, to say this is a pack coming up. I'm gonna precast double tap, you know, as early as I can. First thing I'm gonna do when the tank pulls is I'm gonna fucking MD him. Let's MD this thing. MD. Find something MD. Never mind. You're gonna MD, then you're gonna Explosive Shot, then you're gonna Wild Spirits, Volley, True Shot, aimed, rapid, aimed, and then you just keep pumping. Like multi-shot, aimed, multi-shot, rapid, multi-shot, aimed, multi-shot. Guess what? Rapid fire. And that's your True Shot, and that's your burst window opening. It's like really simple actually. It's just getting it into muscle memory. So you have to do it a lot. Do a lot of dungeons. Make sure you get it right every time, so you're practicing the right thing. Treat it like, you know, an instrument. You know, you're gonna practice it slowly in easy situations, but by practicing correctly, slowly, you're gonna get really good. What are your PC specs? Ryzen 9 5900X and RTX 3080 Supreme X. I'm very happy with my PC lately. Do you also use cursor for volley? Yes, I do, and so should you, generally speaking. It's just, you don't want to spend time fucking placing shit on the ground. One thing I can recommend getting if you're new to using cursor macros is getting a cursor weak aura, which I don't have on me right now. How convenient would that have been if I had that? I'm gonna find it on Waco right now. I'm gonna show you what I mean. And then I'm gonna address the other questions. This is harder to find than a cursor circle. The astute among you may have worked out what I'm gonna show you already. Not multi-dotting Serpent Stalker. Okay, yeah, okay, I forgot that part. I'll show it in another AoE opener. Just a bit try-hard, but you should be doing it. But, like, you shouldn't be doing it unless you're comfortable with the rest of it. Because you know, like, you're already trying to do a pretty fast, hectic opener. If you're also trying to, the Serpent Stick, expiring, but how many can I keep it up? You know, it's not really gonna be conducive to you learning the proper rotation very well. I think I found an appropriate cursor circle. Okay, so if you're using add cursor macros, I recommend using something like this, which is a simple circle around your cursor that makes it easier to see. So you can make it bigger, you can make it more obvious, you can change the color of it, you know. And there's a tons of these in Waco. You just go search Waco for cursor circle, and yeah, GG. All right, let me show you. So let me show you how I Serpent Sting multi-dot. So I use tap, like that's just the most convenient way to do it for me. It's a bit difficult to get into muscle memory, but when you do it, I think it's really effective in a large pack. I'm gonna see if I can narrate it fast enough. So, you know, AoE opener with Serpent Sting multi-dotting. Gonna double tap. You know, fight is starting. You're gonna explosive shot. You're gonna wild spirits. You're gonna volley. You're gonna true shot. You're gonna aim. You're gonna tap target. You're gonna aim again. You're gonna tap target. You're gonna aim again. You're gonna multi-shot. Actually, there should have... Okay, that's a fuck up. There should have been a... It's a mild fuck up. Okay, there should have been a rapid fire in between those two first aims. Like, generally speaking, you just tap target between each aim shot. But the thing is, so what you should note is that you cannot keep Serpent Sting up on more than 2 targets. In the very beginning of a pull, you can just like swoop between them, put up 3 of them, 3 Serpent Stings, but you cannot keep those up. So you're just trying to keep up 2, like I'm doing now. So this one is expiring, you know, I'm gonna swap over to this. I know that I just refreshed that, so my next aim shot is gonna be in this boy. You know, volley into blah 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 blah. And that's just how you do it. So kind of like Sanguine Depths boss 2. Like you just know if this is the last target that you aim shot at, you just swap to the other one. And now this is the last one I aim shot at, and you go to the other one. And if you just keep that in mind, instead of like micromanaging timers, then it'll kind of happen automatically. So yeah. Hey Elastaria, do we have Pandemic on the Serpent Sting? Fuck. Something I don't know. I'm like 99% sure you do. 14 Hikili and other rotational add-ons. I don't think Hunter is difficult enough to warrant such things, but you know, people come from so many different places in terms of skill level that, you know, if you're not having fun doing it without those things, then use them. You know, you can get pretty far with them. You know, I'm sure there are top 100 raiders that use variations of such things. Can you show single target opener? Yeah, sure. Back to single target talents. How do you make the focus show on yourself? That's just a weak aura. It's in my Wago collection. It's literally just... it's called... What's it called? Like power text? Hunter group power text? Literally just... Trigger, status, power, player, done. Should we wait for Wild Spirits when True Shot is not on cooldown? Well, they share the same cooldown, so they're always going to be synced no matter what. Let me show you that single target opener again. Although, see, now we've gone as far, so far into this guide that like questions that were answered in the first part of it are now coming back. So I'm probably going to have to cut it short soon. So yeah, single target opener, pre-double tap, pull timer goes down, 2.5 seconds, aim shot into double steady shot, then Wild Spirits, then true shot, then aim shot, then rapid fire, then aim shot, and then you just pump. And the goal is to get as many aim shots and rapid fires into it as possible. If you, you know, so you've refreshed this if it goes sub 5 and you're casting a steady shot anyway. And yeah, pretty simple. What's the 20-yard thing with double tap and night fade that people talk about? It's pretty simple. So if you're within 20 yards, then a double tapped aim shot will proc Wild Spirits twice. Like, so Wild Spirits works, you put it down, and every time you hit something in the circle, it pulses. And if you double tap, like as the name would imply, doubles your aim shot. But for some reason, it only double taps Wild Spirits procs when you're within 20 yards. I don't know why, it's just how it is. Video games, you know. They're very complicated and buggy. See Cyberpunk. Do you ever do double aim shot on open? I mean, you can. It's not really a big deal if you do. It's just, there's no reason to. If it makes you happy, then do it. Why not save double tap for Wild Spirits? I mean, in many cases, in actual raids on Mythic Plus, it ends up that way. But it's, generally speaking, whenever you're talking about not saving something, it's usually that getting more casts of something is better than getting fewer good casts of something. So getting 4 bad double taps is better than getting 2 good ones. And so if you precast double tap, like 15 seconds before the fight or whatever, then it's gonna be desynced unless you push it back 15 seconds mid-fight. And that's just usually not going to be worth it. Also, you can't guarantee you're always gonna be within 20 yards and everything. In Mythic Plus, you generally don't have the luxury of a 15-second perfectly pre-planned double tap anyway. And in Mythic Plus, like, the packs are separated by time, so it's a lot more important to just get shit out instantly. How important is using precise shots? Very important. It's one of the few important things of the rotation besides hitting your things on cooldown. It's just, it's basic mechanic, like it's just something you need to do. Yeah. On AoE, it's a bit less important because Arcane Shot is relatively stronger on single target than multi-shot is on multi-target. Because multi-shot is affected by armor because it deals physical damage, so it does less damage than Arcane Shot, relatively speaking. Will you ever listen to Muse on stream again? Well, I probably can't because I'd get fucking banned. Should you always use double tap on aim shot? On single target, or like when not using Streamline, yeah. When on AoE or when using Streamline, like, yeah, technically, but it matters way more that you're just using it as often as possible once again. Like, the difference between using double tap on aimed versus rapid fire is really small, but the difference in delaying double tap 10 seconds to make either thing happen is huge. Do you even save CDs for Sludgefist Pillar? Or do you also apply this philosophy to this fight? So you can do napkin math on that philosophy I talked about, which is basically, so if something is gonna be twice as strong, such as from a Sludgefist vulnerable phase, then casting one of those is equivalent to casting 2 bad ones. And then you can like find other tie splitters, so you know, strictly numbers wise they'd be equal. But one requires you to use a certain global once, and another requires you to use a certain global twice. So less global spent for the same damage is obviously better. How many mobs is it best to use multi-shot over arcane? 3. Yeah, exactly. So on Sludgefist you should do it on, because if you push it, if you true shot the first pillar on Sludgefist, then you're not gonna have it for the second one. If you true shot pull, then you're gonna have it for the second one. You know, it's just, it's basically the same, but you're much more likely to like, over a lot of different fight lengths and iterations, you're gonna have a better chance doing good DPS if you do it on pull. It's also a lot easier to do it on pull, I would say. Like, It's just like, and it just feels like shit to not do it on opener. And I'm not like feely crafting. I'm just saying like if you got two options that are strictly speaking completely negligible difference, then you just pick the one that feels good. You know, you don't pick what feels good if it's clearly worse, but if they're equal, why not? Pillars come every 1 minute. They actually come every 1 minute 10, except for the first one, which comes after 58 seconds. But yeah, you do want to save double tap for it. And you can also, if you're using explosive shot, delay it for that as well. Seeki713, thank you so much for your sub. Enjoy the UI on my Discord. Can you explain me please why, if you double tap aim shot, it doesn't give you 2 empowered arcane shots, please? There's no reason for it. It just doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. Like the second aim shot that double tap gives you does not have the same rules as the first one. It's like a it's like the ugly stepsister of the first aim shot. Senna V the second? No, Senna the seventh? Senna 7? Cena, thank you so much for your sub. What's the fastest way to apply MD and tank? Okay, this is actually POC. So get this weak R called Auto Tank Misdirect, okay? So you can look it up, or maybe if I have paste bin bound. POC, I do, I'm pumping. Everything's going my way. And then it creates a macro for you called, well, actually you have to make this macro. And it's basically /click auto tank misdirect. And what this does, as the name would imply, is that it just MDs the tank in a group. So you don't have to fuck with macros, you don't have to set your tank as focus. Yeah, you just pop that fucking bad boy in. Does it MD your pet if there's no tank? No, that's the only downside. It doesn't do that. So for that I have a separate like focus /pet MD macro, which I use for BM. So it has its limitations, this thing, but yeah. What if there are 2 tanks? Or do you not use MD in raids? It's very rare that I have to MD a specific tank in the raid. If I would do that, then I would just use a different macro and like mouse over it or something. Or if I'm just like proccing that one particular fight, then I just make, and I'm only ever gonna MD that tank, then I'm just gonna do use at tank misdirection. Like the name of the tank. What's the macro you set for the MD? It's the Mumble link the week aura. I also posted a paste bin for it. What's the best spec for leveling as a hunter? Generally BM. At least it's the easiest. MM might be faster if you're questing. What about raids? Oh yeah, I explained that, right? Related to the MD. The MD macro isn't working. You need the weak aura. It's not gonna work without that weak aura. It's not opening. What sense? What's a macro meant to open? What font do you use for your UI? It's called Gotham Ultra. You also get that as part of the sub UI thing. After weak aura, what's the macro? It's best to check the Wago. Yeah, 69 latency, great. Wago page, because it has the macro, but it's right here. And if you're wondering why my macro screen looks like this, it's the add-on called Macro Toolkit. It's very nice. Have you noticed a bug where if you volley immediately after consuming trick shots with aim shot, you don't get trick shots from the volley? No, I've not seen that. That is news to me. Do you have a proof? Like, not proof as in I don't believe you, but like a video, clip, log, something. What are your top 5 F1 drivers of the season? I'll have to think about that. Let me answer Hunter questions first. What's the best covenant as Hunter? Nightfay. There's a macro that set your target to focus and check if you have a focus set. Then it will MD them. Yeah, I'll dim then soon, but the problem is I'm using focus interrupt macros in Mythic Plus mostly. So I can't really combine those too well. Do you got a weak aura for trick shots? Yeah, I do. It's just a simple buff tracker. You can find it if you do the WA command in my collection. Let's see. Catching up. No, I think I caught up. Okay, so top 5 Formula 1 drivers. I mean, okay, are we talking about the ones that were like, okay, your top 5 F1 drivers of the season? The ones I liked the most, or the ones I thought that were the best in order? How do you get your tanks to stop dragging mobs out of your wild spirits? I have something for you, friend. It's in my weak aura collection if you just do the WA command, but it's basically this tank alerts group. And in it is simple, like, it yell when you successfully cast either Covenant ability, it's gonna go in party chat. It's gonna say, hey, I just put down wild spirits, please don't move mobs. It's not guaranteed to work if the tank can't read or is otherwise impaired, but it helps. They definitely can't say that you didn't say anything. Do you have a guide for rating as marksmanship? Yes, that is actually why people even care about what I have to say. I write the hunter guides on icyveins.com. So that's icy-veins.com. And if you just look up the hunter section there, I write the guides for all 3 specs. Whew. Alright, boys. I think I might call it a night. I gotta sleep soon. Yeah, I'm getting POG views. I really appreciate the people are sticking around. And yeah, hope you enjoy. I'm gonna call it a night here. If you like the stream, be sure to follow. If you really like it, you can consider subscribing or pledging to my Patreon, which includes useful rewards such as access to my UI, access to my plater profile, access to my details profile. Of course, you can ask me questions. You can ask me any question you want on Discord, and because you're giving me money, I will feel obligated to respond even if the answer is clearly in the guide. So that's a huge bonus. Muju Cat, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Will this Q&A session be available later? Yeah, I might sort that out actually. Got kinky pics as a reward. I used to have a Patreon tier where you could get me to say whatever you wanted in an ASMR voice. So yeah, you should be able to just watch this VOD after if you want to. Just want to tell you, your guide really stepped up my hunter game back in mob, so thanks for what you do. Really appreciate those kind words, man. Palunko asked if I can link the weak aura for Covenant abilities. I can't find it right now, but it's gonna be in my weak aura collection, which I just linked. What changes do you think are coming for MM? Maybe a 2 to 3% aura nerf. But I don't know. It's 50-50. Glad you found the opener useful. What's your eye level? I just got an upgrade, so now it's 199.94. But let's just say I have 200 eye level. Is this weapon dragging me down? Seriously, when I upgrade this weapon, plus 5% DPS. It's insane. This is a gif of the bug I mentioned. I'll have to check it out after the stream. Aura nerf, so... Whew, I could keep going. Aura nerf is so... There's this hidden buffs in the internal system that basically just modifiers of all your spells' abilities. And that serves as Blizzard's like tuning dial. They can just take that like invisible aura buff, as we call it, and they can just give it like increases the damage of all abilities by 1, 2, 3, however many percent. It's just their tuning dial. So when I say aura nerf, it's literally just increases the damage done of all MM abilities by XYZ, or reduces. Is TrueShot the server where we get your UI? No, that would be my personal Discord, which is just called twitch.tv/Esotharian. Just linked it there. Palunko found the weak aura. That's perfect. Hunter AoE seems like needs a bit more than 2 to 3%. Maybe? I don't know. Really good. I just don't know if it's nerf worthy, you know? That's the thing. Like, something has to be the best. And I don't think it's the best by a completely insane margin. Like, Boomkins do better AoE than us. At least, like, over a sustained period. But in, like, a 15-second window, it's very, very hard to beat a Hunter. Fire mages can do it, I think. We're using Chimera. Should we cast Wild Spirits right after aim shot in the opener? After aim shot. So... Actually, on On the second boss, you wouldn't even precast double tap aim shot. You would just treat it like a M plus pull. So you'd like explosive shot on 0, wild spirits, volley, true shot, aim shot, rapid fire, and then you'd spend your chimera shot, precise shot stacks. Alright, boys. I have to resist the temptation to answer more questions, but I really appreciate everyone's engagement and yeah, watching the stream. Okay, last question I'm gonna answer. Wait, that's not a question. Okay, all good. So, like I said before, if you enjoyed the stream, be sure to follow. If you really like it, consider subscribing, pledging to my Patreon. I'll be back again tomorrow around 4, 5, 6 EU server time. And we're gonna do some 14 keys with the team. Maybe some 15s as well for the memes. And hopefully I get a weapon, which would be absolutely huge. Wish you guys a wonderful, beautiful evening. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.